Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by World Series of Fighting welterweight Gregor Gracie. Gregor, how are you?
Hey Mike, how are you? I'm good. And you?
I'm doing good. Gregor, let's go back to your last fight, World Series of Fighting 1 against Tyson Steele. That was a fight where 4 minutes and I'd say about 40 seconds you completely dominated him, and then the last 10 or 12 seconds didn't go your way. What exactly went wrong for you in that fight, and how did you take the loss? Did you take it as, a fight where you basically had cost yourself the fight and you kind of, lost it for yourself, or do you take it as just he executed better than you did and you got to give him a lot of credit? How did you take the loss, and what went wrong for you in the fight?
I give credit to him. Tyson's a very tough guy,
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I wasn't very confident on that fight because I had just come off of two very recent fights.
Mm-hmm.
I fought 3 times in like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
So my training camp didn't go so well. I had a couple injuries, so I wasn't very confident, So I think that played a big part in it.
Mm-hmm.
And but props to him, he did a great job. He made some good shots, and he was able to win the fight.
Mm-hmm. You had him in all kinds of trouble. You basically threw every submission that there is at him, and he was able to escape all of them. Gregor, how tight were some of these submissions? Because a lot of times we've seen guys who are in a choke, the commentators cage side say, oh, the choke is very tight, or he's getting close to tapping, or something like that, and then sometimes the fighter who's in the submission ends up escaping. Were these submission holds that you had on him really tight, or was it just something where it looked tight on camera, but when you were in the fight, it wasn't that tight? How exactly tight were some of these submissions, and how much trouble was Tyson Steele really in when you had some of these locked up?
The submission was tight,
Mm-hmm.
He did a good job holding on.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, my training camp didn't go so well, I wasn't able to get my cardio like I wanted to, and I was afraid of really squeezing there and burning my arms out.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't want to, waste a lot of energy there. So that's why I kind of let him go.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, no one likes to lose. Everyone likes to win, and suffering a loss, no fighter ever wants to do that, but it happens in this sport. How did you take this loss? Did you take this loss as an embarrassment because you weren't able to find the finish, even though you were dominating the fight and you were doing so well and weren't able to come up with the win? Or did you just take this like any other loss and it was just as bad as the others that you've suffered in the past? How did you take the loss?
Like any loss, you gotta really reconsider what went wrong with overall. A lot of times not just something that happened in the fight, but maybe something that happened before.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought about it, made a couple mistakes overall in the fight and before the fight, and just make sure I won't do them again. But any loss, of course, it sucks to lose. So you got to make sure you learn from it.
Mm-hmm. Now, did he surprise you at all with his submission defense? Because looking at his record in the past, that had been, kind of his weakness. Were you surprised by how well he was able to defend, or did you know going into the fight that he was going to be tough to put away?
I knew he was going to be tough. He was a undefeated guy.
Mm-hmm.
He is very tough. And but again, I believe I kind of lost myself on that fight.
Mm-hmm. Did you watch his next fight when he fought Steve Carl in World Series of Fighting? Were you able to catch that fight?
Yeah, I watched it.
Mm-hmm. Were you surprised that Steve Carl was able to put him away the way he did it? Because I think he got him in a rear naked choke with no hooks in it. It was very strange. What were your thoughts on that finish, and were you surprised by that?
Yeah, sometimes when a guy goes against a really jiu-jitsu guy, he's gonna be very, very hesitant on the ground to open it up, and he'll give the guy a lot of respect, so it'll be harder to finish. But maybe against Steve, he didn't really believe he had a lot of danger on the ground, so he kind of just opened himself up. It's if a jiu-jitsu guy is gonna go against a very good striking guy, I don't think he's gonna try to strike at all, just shooting for the takedown, and it'll be much harder to knock him out.
Mm-hmm. Now, coming up on September 14th, you're going to be fighting at World Series of Fighting 5. How's training been going for the fight?
Man, training is unbelievable. I'm very happy that I'm fighting with a bunch of teammates, my brother, my cousin, plus all the other guys, the Branch, Arthur, Ozzy. So we're really pushing each other to the limit, and everybody's looking great. Can't wait for it.
Mm-hmm. With so many guys from your team fighting on this card, who's going to be cornering you?
Andrew's going to be there. We have my boxing coach also, Mark Henry. He's an unbelievable coach. Mm-hmm. So both of them will be supporting us there.
Mm-hmm. With so many guys preparing to fight at the same night and trying to peak at the same time, do you find that better for the training? Does it make the training better?
Yeah, of course, it makes the training better. The whole team was very strong in the training camp. Everybody was pushing each other, and like everybody, all the other guys who didn't have fights also were showing up to help and everything. So the training camp, this fight was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Are you from New York or are you from New Jersey?
From New York.
New York. Okay, so New York doesn't have MMA legal, so New Jersey is, the closest spot to fighting at home. Obviously, this event is a big deal, nationally televised event, and a lot of your family and a lot of your teammates are going to be fighting on this card. What does it mean to you to be a part of this event?
It's amazing. I haven't fought close to home in a really long time.
Right.
All my best fights were in Asia, Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. So it's unbelievable to be here just so that I don't have to catch like a 20-hour flight. It's already unbelievable,
Right.
But everybody, all my students from here, from Gregor Gracie, New York, and everybody else can go there support. It'll be awesome. Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to be taking on Richard Parishnak. What do you know about him?
He's a very tough guy. He's a wrestler. He has a good stand-up base. He moves well. He likes striking. He's also he has a very good defense on the ground. But like anybody else, now everybody's tough. Everybody knows everything. It's not like those back old days that you guys only knew one martial arts. Mm-hmm. But so he's very tough. He's dangerous. He'll keep going for a long time, and that makes anybody dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Do you think with his wrestling background that he'll be willing to play on the ground with you?
I think he'll have no choice, I think
right.
Eventually I'll be able to put him down, and he's going to have to work on the ground with me.
Right. This is the second time you're fighting for World Series of Fighting. How many fights are left on your contract?
To tell the truth, I'm not even sure. I got to check that, but I'm not really concerned about that now. I'm just concerned about winning my next fight and, keep fighting.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned earlier that you had a rough training camp for the Tyson Steele fight because you were keeping up a pretty active schedule because you fought twice in 2 months before you went into the training camp for the Tyson Steele fight. Since that fight, since November of 2012 when you fought Tyson Steele, during that time off, what were some things you did? Was it mostly just relaxing, or was it, changing up your training? What exactly did you do so that this time around you'll get better results?
I rested, on the beginning because I had a couple of injuries that just kept going over on training camps. So I had to rest a little bit, I got that healed, and then I came back stronger training again. Just trying to get better overall, my stand-up, my wrestling, my jiu-jitsu. So just kept trying to improve on every aspect, and then when we got this fight, I started focusing more on one direction, which is Rich.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple questions that I've always wanted to ask a Gracie, and I had your brother on yesterday, and I was talking to him, but we kind of went off on a different path, and I didn't feel like it was the right time to bring some of this stuff up. But since I have you here, I've been very fascinated with your family throughout the years that I've watched the sport, and I have a few questions about the family. First question I have for you is, how many on the Gracie side? How many first cousins do you have?
I don't even know. I never stopped to count them.
Really?
It's a lot. I have no idea.
Oh boy. Yeah. The next question is: are there any Gracie family members from the male side, or I guess you could say the female side too, who have not tried jiu-jitsu?
No, I believe no. They other guys, fight all the guys fight, and I mean, like, when we're born, you know, we're ready with the gi training,
Right.
so it's not like, of course, later on in the life, the guy can choose to take another direction, you know, to go somewhere else in his life. He can go as he wishes, but I believe everybody has tried at least once.
So how many family members would you say never, were an instructor or a competitor in the jiu-jitsu world or an MMA fighter? How many people in the family would you say haven't done any of that?
Haven't done?
Yeah. Haven't been an instructor or a competitor in jiu-jitsu or MMA fighter?
With all the girls, like, because I think the only woman who actually competes and teaches, which is more involved, is Gregor Gracie. But all the rest of the girls, I don't think they're much involved with it. And the guys, maybe, I don't know, I'll say roughly about 20 or 30, I think, like, maybe never did it, or I'm not involved with it right now. But it's hard to guess, you know.
Now I'm going to put you on the spot here. People consider, Gracie 1.0, Hoist Gracie, and Hickson Gracie, and Henzo Gracie, and all those guys, and then there's 2.0, which is you and Hodger and Hollis and all those guys, Igor, all those guys. Who's the best of 1.0 and who's the best of 2.0?
It's a tough question, you know, like, in the beginning, like, the guys really, because they fought in different times, you know. Also, like, Hoyt, he fought UFC when it was just, like, really one martial arts against another one. And then Henzo started fighting in Japan when it was already a little more mixed, and Hickson also, you know. And Hickson had many fights with being undefeated. He always cross-trained a lot from wrestling, sambo, judo. So everybody always had a different aspects added to their game, so it's really hard to say, you know.
And is it the same case for 2.0, the guys that are fighting now?
Yeah, I think Roger is the best representative in jiu-jitsu. You know, he's the best competitor ever. He has won more world titles than anybody else. His ground game is unbelievable. And but I believe some other guys have different aspects to the game, which it's really good also, you know. A guy who's going to surprise a lot of people is Neymar. He's coming up for his first fight. He's doing incredible in his training camp. I think it's going to be you guys are going to be surprised with him also.
Metamoris, that's run by the family as well. Halleck Gracie, he's the one running it. Is there a possibility that we could see you fight on one of those cards? Yeah,
of course. I'll be more than happy to compete. You know, I think it's I watched both events they had. You know, I thought it was some great matchups. The rules are nice. You know, they're trying to make a new concept like of jiu-jitsu a little bit. You know, with different rules and a lot of submissions also. So I really enjoyed, you know, watching. I'll be more than happy to fight. You know, I really love competing. Like this year, I did a lot of 2 jiu-jitsu tournaments. Didn't have any fights, you know, so I just figured that I would go compete on jiu-jitsu. So just anything that I can compete, I'll be happy.
Are you going to do any more ADCC? I think the last time you competed was in Barcelona in 2009. Is that something that you would entertain again? You would?
Yeah, of course. Like my main focus now is MMA. You know, that's what I really my career. If I have to put it like this way, my career is all focused on MMA. If it doesn't conflict with a fight that I have, you know, I'll be very happy to do it. But like for this event, like, it would be very hard to compete, you know, because I have this fight, so it would be the training wouldn't go as well. So, but if it doesn't conflict with any other MMA fights, I'll be happy to do it. You know, it was a great experience for me.
Now, Hoyler Gracie, he's going to be taking on Eddie Bravo, I believe, at the next Metamoris. Is this a fight that you're anticipating? Because I know a lot of people have wanted to see this rematch for a long time. You know, for someone who's in the family, you know, is this a fight that you've been looking forward to?
Yes, I have. I was there when they first fought. You know, Hoyler is an unbelievable competitor. I think that Eddie didn't get lucky. He's a very skillful fighter, but was his day. He was able to pull that out. But I think if they fought, or if they fight 10 more times, Holler will win 9. So I think that I'm excited for the fight. I really want to watch.
Mm-hmm. What would be the way for you to get on a card? Is it as simple as you just call him up and say, hey, I want on the card, or is it something where Halleck's going to have to come to you? How would that work?
No, I mean, I have to talk to him. Right. They're very selective with their fighters. They always pick the best of the best. So if they want me there, I'll be happy to represent.
Would you prefer to have an MMA guy go against you? Because they've done, Brendan Schaub, he was on the last card, and they've had guys who have crossed over. Would you prefer to go against the MMA guy, or would you like a straight grappler kind of guy?
Yeah, I think it would be cool, to go against an MMA guy, since I'm more focused on that now also. I don't train jiu-jitsu every day of the week, so it's, I think it would be cool, get like a MMA guy who's also likes to go on the ground, so also a grappler also. Like somebody like I forgot his name. Mm-hmm. The 170 champion from Bellator. What's his name again?
Ben Askren.
Yeah, Ben Askren. Somebody like him, who's a grappler, also likes to go on the ground a lot. Like somebody kind of like him will be a very nice fight.
Oh yeah, that would be a great fight. I would love to see that one.
Yeah, he fought on Abu Dhabi the same year as I did also, stuff like that. Right.
Yeah, that would be a great fight. I'd love to see that one.
He's an unbelievable fighter. I always watch his fight. I learn a lot from him, and I think it will be nice.
Mm-hmm. Now, Gregor, a lot of people talk about, when they talk about the new generation of Gracie fighters, Gracie 2.0, yourself, Hollis, Igor, Hodger, all those guys, when they talk about them, they talk about the pressure of carrying on the legacy, carrying on the name. Do you feel a lot of pressure when you step in there, coming from the family that you do, or is it kind of something where you don't feel as much pressure given that you have all these other family members that are going through the same thing? Do you feel pressure, or is it kind of just all the pressure is dispersed because there's so many guys in the family fighting now?
No, I don't believe I never felt pressure. I think once you're born with it, and always with dealing with the jiu-jitsu competitions and everything, you kind of get used to it. I believe either it makes you stronger or it breaks you. So I never really felt pressure. I never really got nervous on fights and stuff like that. I always felt very natural, to go there and fight and represent. I don't put a lot of pressure on myself, like as I had to win, I had to do this. I just want to go there. Of course, I'm fighting my best to win, and the better I can represent myself and my family, and also after that, once I'm done fighting, be able to pass to my younger cousins, my sons, and my grandsons, and just keep it going. It will be awesome for me. That's all I really want.
Mm-hmm. Is Renzo going to come back and fight? Because I know he's talked about in the past that he would like another opportunity to fight in the UFC or in mixed martial arts in general. Is he still open to fighting again?
I mean, he trains, he always trains. I don't know if he's going to fight or not. I don't know. He trains sometimes, he talks about it sometimes, but Renzo's a very busy guy. It's hard for him to stay in one place. He's always traveling, always doing work, so it's kind of hard for him. So he'll have to get a little time for himself to be able to do a full training camp to fight.
Mm-hmm. Last question, and I'm going to put you on the spot again. Of the current guys who are fighting mixed martial arts from the Gracie family, who's going to be the first to be a world champion in mixed martial arts?
I don't know, it's, I guess whoever fights for the title first.
Right.
It's hard to say, because, some guys, they fight a little bit, and then they do something else. But I think, eventually one of us is gonna have that title sooner or later, and it's hard to say who's gonna be. Whoever gets able to have that shot first.
Mm-hmm. Gregor, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Yeah, make sure you guys watch WSOF September 14th. MEC. It's going to be a nice show, a lot of tough guys. I want to thank my sponsors, Jaco and Gaspari Nutrition, for always supporting me, and so I'm able to have the best training camp because of them. So just thanks for that. Make sure you guys watch.
Gregor, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it. Good luck September 14th at World Series of Fighting 5 against Richard Parishnak.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. Anytime, just let me know.